This comes under the "We Love You, Drew" emails. There's only one. Christy Taylor. I laughed so hard when I watched Drew on 100 Huntley Street. Not a week goes by that doesn't come up. It's still a very interesting phenomenon. You did a great job expressing the lack of affiliation I have with most of the guests on that show, and such a strong affiliation I have with your guests who express their journeys, struggles, doubts, and gratefulness because God hasn't given up on us. I think it's hard for those of us who were raised in the church to sincerely appreciate the type of programming typically offered on Huntley, because so much of it smacks with the hypocrisy that we've been privileged to see and hear preached from pulpits, Sunday school teachers, and youth group volunteers. We need to express the journey, not just rewards, if we want our kids, ourselves, our neighbors, God, dare I include him on this list, to find sincerity in our faith. Thank you for helping me find words through your words for my struggles, joy, and journey.
Wow.
Thank you, Christy Taylor. But as always, there's the yin and the yang in this. And now we come to an email where someone is not too impressed with, well, I don't know. You give me your opinion on this one, okay?
Okay.
Are you ready? This is from Phoebe Wall, and she lives in Fresno, California. And I used to live down near Fresno, California. I just listened to your comments regarding Stephen Baldwin. Last week we talked about the fact that there is a website up there that says, it's called RestoreStephenBaldwin.com, I think, or .org, whatever. And basically, Stephen has gone broke, and they're saying, and this is a guy who's not affiliated with Stephen Baldwin, but Stephen Baldwin's spiritual director, manager, whatever, ministry, boss of his ministry, has said okay to this website. So instead of coming out and saying, no, don't do this website, they've gone, well, if you want to do it, then sure, do it. And basically, the website is saying, please, let's everybody give money to Stephen Baldwin, because he's not doing well financially, because he's turned down roles in movies that have had gratuitous violence and sex. And so we need to hold him up as a beautiful example in Hollywood, and we all need to give Stephen Baldwin money.
Well, the money is not going to go to Stephen Baldwin, though, because he's gone bankrupt, which means the money just goes directly to his creditors.
Ta-da! So here we go. I just listened to your comments regarding Stephen Baldwin. How is Stephen Baldwin's obviously self-serving promo begging for money any different from any other Christian ministry asking or begging for money? That's a good point. Note, at the bottom of this comment page is your own promo for poetry, flowers, gifts, and donations. Make checks payable to Drew Marshall. I got to interject, first of all. I guess you don't know my show that well, nor my personality. There's a tad bit of facetiousness, which is really hard to say when you're inebriated. Not that I'm inebriated. I can't even say inebriated. Anyway, not too different. As you said, get a paying job rather than asking for donations. I said that about Stephen. We stopped giving money. This is Phoebe from Fresno, California. We stopped giving money to any Christian institution, agency, ministry. We give only directly to people and work hard in our business to create jobs so that people can support themselves without having to beg for money. Great example. I think it's a great example. We give only directly to people and work hard in our business to create jobs so that people can support themselves without having to beg for money. I think that's a fantastic approach. Do you think they've gone a little overboard in that? Never giving to any ministry?
I'd say never, definitely. People do give, but I think it's also, you got to look at the percentage.
Right.
Because generally when people are the kind that give to ministries, when you look at the percentage that they give away, it's usually a lot higher than people that don't.
Right.
So I agree. I think if God's telling you, you give to this person and you do this and that, wonderful. The percentage, though, tends to be always higher on the people that are giving to ministries, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, anyway, there's a couple of emails. I don't want to read anymore because they kind of make me feel awkward or threatened, one or the other. Here's what's coming up on our show, folks. After a short break, we're going to come back with our Counsel of Many, and this week in the Counsel of Many, a mother is having a hard time, quote, letting go and letting God. Love that bumper sticker. And disagrees with her husband about encouraging and financing their youngest son's trip to a dangerous part of the world. She says, if anything happens to our son, I will divorce him. Wow. So we're going to chat about that and give this lady some feedback. I think what she wants is a little ammunition to come back to her husband and say, you see, all these people agree with me. And then Naomi Baker is going to join us in studio. She's the founder of Canada Fights Human Trafficking. What a story this lady has and what work she does and what stories she's going to tell us. Because the human trafficking stuff we know is out there, but here's the deal. I'm not sure whether many folks realize this or not. Canada has no minimum sentence for human trafficking.
Really?
The United States has a minimum sentence of 10 years, and we have none. No minimum sentence.
Whoa.
So here's a quick story for you. Some guy kept a girl. No, did he keep? I think he kept a girl in his slave thing for 3 years. Got sentenced to 2 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty pathetic. And then Karen and Rob Powell will join us. This is our journey segment for the day. Just this past December 11th, Karen looked out her window and saw 2 police officers approaching her home. And, of course, her mother knows. They soon informed her that her eldest boy, David, a 22-year-old civil engineering student at University of Waterloo, had just been killed in a car accident. So a tough story there. The family will come in and thank you. You know, I so appreciate it when people are willing to be vulnerable in the middle of their grief. Well, for so many years, we've been told, and maybe suggested subliminally in the Jesus scene, that let's wait until you're all perky and happy and shiny, and then you can talk about how you used to feel. No one ever talks about how they feel right now. Melinda Doolittle is our American Idol finalist guest today. And basically, daughter of a single mom who was tone deaf. See, here's the thing. Everybody I know who's tone deaf is always tone deaf.
Yeah, I
How do
kind
you
of
not become
that.
tone deaf anymore? Anyway, she went on to win, or not win, but she was
Maybe
third.
she went to a Benny Hinn crusade.
I said, that's in my notes. How did you know? That's so funny. I put that in my notes and my questions
Did
to
you?
her. Yeah, that's funny.
Hey.
Great minds. Kristen Richburg. Now, this is a story I just hunkered down into, and I could not put this book down. She is the author of Disrupting Grace, a story of relinquishment and healing. She and her husband adopted a 1-year-old, I think, roughly, something like that, girl from Thailand, and 5 years later had to admit that it didn't work. It didn't work. She went back to the judge and said, I can't do this anymore.
Wow.
Relinquished the child she adopted. A tough story. So we're going to get her on the phone. And then Allison and Jacob Moon. Many of you heard Jacob's, thing here on the radio a few months ago when he was telling us that he and his wife have been trying to have a baby for quite a while, and then started thinking about the adoption process, and that's been going on for quite a while. Well, ding, ding, ding. They got a phone call and said, we got a baby for you. So they're going to come in the studio with their baby. And Jacob's going to sing and play and all that kind of stuff. And here's the piece to resistance. Just a minute. I have some indigestion. Stand by. Oh, there we go. The Starbucks has these new panini sandwiches. Okay. And the one I had was just loaded with pesto. Loaded. Gets you going for the day. Anyway, the end of the show, folks. All you kids out there, you want to phone in and say Happy Mother's Day to your mom on the radio? Do you want to? Do you want to? Then do that. Number is 905-338-1250, 877-JOY-1250. Don't phone now. Near the end of the show. So probably around 4:40. Dads, this is a great little thing to do. Get mom listening to the radio. Make sure she's listening. And then have Junior call in. Does that make any sense? And just say Happy Mother's Day, and it'll be a cool little thing. Anyway, that's the show. It's a Mother's Day special. I don't know whether you figured that out or not.
That means that mothers are working hard at making their day special.
Nicely said. Nicely said. We have a celebrity guest co-host today, the winner of our Drew Marshall Show Facebook group, co-host for a day contest. I don't know what that gets called. And her name is Maria, and she's here all day with us, folks. I want you to have a listen to one of my heroes when I was growing up. Here's a little Mother's Day special for each and every one of you out there in Mother's Day land. Okay? Have a listen to this. No, really, have a listen to this. Why is this not working? Why? It worked before. Tim, you would be so proud of me for this not working right now.
Uh-oh.
I have a clip. And I'm looking at the buttons on the board, and everything seems to be working fine. Oh, I know why.
It's moving now.
Yeah.
Can be there, and they can do their thing.
So what's changed?
I know that for me, I need to get over the fear of standing in front of people myself.
Okay, what you singing?
For Once in My Life, Stevie Wonder.
I love that song. Okay.
You did?
Yeah.
Are you ready? I love Stevie, too.
Now, Maria Doolittle is the guest we're going to have later in the show. What did I say?
Maria.
Dang. I'm not
You need somebody beside
I really
you, Drew.
do, seriously. Do you know how many mistakes I make in a show?